back to my corner of the interview review.
It's Christmas night and every...
Hello my dears and welcome back to my corner of the internet. Today is Wednesday. I can't. Hello my dears and welcome back to my corner of the internet. Today is Wednesday, which means I've got another book talk video for you guys. And today's video is going to be part one of me talking about some of my Neil Gaiman favorites. I also wanted to just add a quick note about Vlogmas. That starts tomorrow, of course, and I'm very excited about it. I just wanted to kind of let you guys know how I'm going to be doing my Vlogmas. I'm going to have a ton of vlogs, of course, hence the name. But I'm also going to have some sit-down videos, just because I don't want to miss out on those either. So there will be some book talks in there, as well as there's, you know, some Christmas tags going around, and I really want to film one of those. And there's also just holiday videos, like favorite holiday films and holiday albums and things like that I don't want to miss out on by just focusing on vlogging. So it'll be called Vlogmas, but there will be a mixture of both kind of videos in there. But all videos will be holiday themed. So with that in mind, let's just get right into the book talk. Now, Neil Gaiman is a British author who has written a ton of really great books. He's also done some writing for television. In fact, Doctor Who being one of the first that come to mind, he has written 2 amazing episodes for Doctor Who, one being The Doctor's Wife, which is a favorite episode of mine, and then another being Nightmare in Silver, which was also a really great episode. But we're here to talk about books. It was really hard to pick what 3 books I wanted to talk about first, because I didn't want to pick too many and have this video go on way too long and have you all bored to tears. So I just kind of picked the first 3 to kind of go hand in hand a little bit. And then one is just a favorite of mine. So the first one, I think, is a favorite of many. The first being American Gods. Now, the thing that I love about a Neil Gaiman novel is that anything can happen, and it usually does. The worlds that he creates have no rules. The most crazy, outlandish, absurd, beautiful, wonderful things can happen. So now, American Gods is a book I would definitely recommend to anyone wanting to dip their toe into Neil Gaiman. It seems to be a good place to start. It's the story of a man named Shadow, and he's in prison. And he's just waiting for that day when he can get out of prison and go to be with his beloved wife, who it has killed him being away from. However, he learns that just a couple of days before he's set to get out of prison, his wife and his best friend are killed in an automobile accident. So that kind of leaves him really broken and really unsure of what to do next. Cut to Shadow meets a mysterious stranger who he decides to go to work for. What happens after that is a wild kind of road trip kind of story filled with, I guess you could maybe call it like a lot of underground theology. I mean, the title itself, American Gods, he comes across many different characters, and this is a theme that often happens in a lot of Neil Gaiman's books. There's a lot of mystery to it like that, and you meet a lot of characters that do exist in folklore and theology and things like that, and you meet them in a different way, and it's just so interestingly done. This book, it started off a little slow for me, but I kept going, and then by the time I had like 100 pages left, I was just on a mad dash to the finish. I remember sitting up half the night to get it done, and it is so good. So definitely recommend American Gods. This too, I know they've been trying for a long time. There's always been stopped and started getting it turned into, you know, a film or a TV series. And I think that I recently read that it is being made into a TV series. So that'll be very, very interesting to me. Shadow is such an interesting, mysterious character, and there's just something very attractive about those kind of qualities in a character. Next up, the book that I want to talk about is one of my personal favorites. And it is called The Ocean at the End of the Lane. It also has one of my favorite book covers. So pretty. Anyway, this book is, it takes place in England, in Sussex, and a middle-aged man who shall remain nameless is going home for a funeral. Simple. To me, this book is childhood all rolled into one. Because when he gets home, he starts having memories about a little girl that he knew, that he met when he was 7, and her mother, and her grandmother, and the pond that this little girl would try desperately to convince him was actually an ocean. And there's just something, this book is the kind of book that demands a second read. After I read it the first time, I was absolutely smitten with how beautiful it is. It's endlessly quotable. There are just so many passages that are, they just really, they get me deep. And one that I really love is monsters are scared of things. That's what makes them monsters. So there's a lot of childhood in this book. And like I say, the first time you read it, you finish it, and you're kind of like, what did I just read? Like, you get so caught up in the words that the story becomes a bit disjointed because you're looking at things in passages and in sentences and in sayings, and it's so intense that way. And then when you read it the second time, you're more kind of able to move past how beautifully it's written and get deeper into the story. So I would definitely recommend this one. Very good. It's it gets a little dark. It's a little darker than you at first think it's going to be, but it's beautiful. And one thing that I love is I love his dedications, and this one, so this book came out in 2013, and it the dedication is for Amanda, who is his wife. So it just says, for Amanda, who wanted to know. Love that. So next up is a collection of short stories, which are always really hard to review because you have to go story by story, and we don't have that kind of time. But it is called Trigger Warning, and it's short fictions and disturbances. And it is so great. One thing that I love about this book is there is a story in here that features Shadow from American Gods. So that's a fun little tie together. And I find Neil Gaiman does that sometimes. There'll be little threads, much in the same way that Stephen King does, where the stories, you can find subtle connections from one story to another. However, this one is not that. It's very obviously Shadow is the main character in this story, as well as in American Gods. So, yeah, this collection is beautiful. Again, he does book covers so right. They're always so attractive. And he's just, the stories in here, they're so different, they're so vast. The themes and the ideas, it's just, he's a treasure. So if you haven't read any Neil Gaiman, I think, suggest starting with American Gods out of these three, to get kind of a firm footing on who Neil Gaiman is as a writer. And if you're a Doctor Who fan and you've seen the Matt Smith episodes, The Doctor's Wife and Nightmare in Silver, you'll also get a good idea for the kind of stories that Neil Gaiman tells. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I'm going to be coming back. I'm trying to think of what I'm going to get in here with part 2. I don't know if it'll be in December or if it'll be after Vlogmas is over, because I know I've got some books, some sort of holiday themed books I want to talk about during Vlogmas, and as well as I would like to do a book talk during Vlogmas for the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them screenplay. So we've got that all coming up. So I'm going to say that Neil Gaiman Part 2 is probably not going to show up here on this channel until the beginning of January. So something to look forward to, I hope. I hope you guys are having a great week, and I will see you tomorrow with day 1 of Vlogmas. Bye, guys.